Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're over on Kiasma's account to test out the best free-to-play endgame teams. Now, when I say free-to-play, we're referring to the fact that these heroes are from the 4 normal factions. There's a couple that will use Athaliah as well, but she is claimable from the Challenger store. So these are the ones that everyone can sort of look to build and focus on as they're progressing through the game. So let's get into the video. Now, once again, these ones will be taken from White Sushi's guide on Reddit. Really awesome. I'm going to go through the teams that he's got and the substitutes he's got and throw in some extra little ones that I find work when I've used some of these teams on my accounts. So the first one we are going to kick it off with is basically, I just like to call it the pyramid team. It's basically around using Sophia and getting her pyramid up, basically to reduce the enemy's attack and haste and increase your attack and basically delete the enemies. Now, the main hero you're going to use here is the main 2 heroes that are sort of non-negotiable, in my opinion, are going to be Sophia, obviously, and Iron. Now, these guys are just both fantastic heroes, great damage dealers, but when you synergize them together, they're even better. Iron obviously pulling the enemies into that pyramid that is placed by the Sophia, and just getting that massive effect from it. Now, the base 3 heroes that we have here just really work. I mean, the Tassie and Leica, firstly, they give you a 3-piece faction bonus, which is better than nothing. Tassie's there for basically the support. You know, she's got the banish, she's got the sleep, she's there just as a general supporter. Leica is there for the haste buff, and actually since the update, where they changed it, I find Leica does a bit more damage, and also the fact that she reduces armor faster, I really do like. I think it's a much more effective way of using her, so she's there for that. And then Rowan is there obviously because Rowan's just a god. The great thing about having Rowan in the front row is that in this comp, obviously you're going to drag the middle 3 enemies into Iron, but the top and bottom are going to be left open. But when Rowan is up here, especially if he's got Jura's Call, so he's going to get his ult pretty quick, as long as he survives, which he should, because Iron's going to pull the aggro away from him, he's going to be able to stun that Belinda down there with his coins when he does eventually ult, sort of negating another hero for a little bit. And sometimes you can time that to interrupt an ultimate. As Belinda starts to cast her ultimate, you can put it on manual and use Rowan to stop that and all that sort of stuff. So just a really good general team synergy. We'll put a play of this team, and then we'll talk about some substitutes that you can use. So we're just going to dummy the rest of the teams just so we can demonstrate this one. Let's put on ×1 speed just so we can see it. So you see they all got brought in. The problem is that Iron does spear them out as well, but it's really not that bad when he's dealing that much damage when he spears them out, because he still keeps the attack buff as well. As you can see there, Rowan stunning the, you can see the coins on her head, stunning the Belinda, like I said. Tassie doing her thing and actually just sleeping everyone, which is fantastic. Moving up to the turtle. And there was that was a big bomb by the Sophia, dropping on that Belinda. We'll let this one die and look at the damage output. Let's check this. As you can see, Leica actually doing some really decent damage. Same with the Tassie. The Tassie, when she banishes someone and steals their attack, it actually does increase her damage. Iron and Sophia are just massive. Sophia's always going to do more damage if the enemies are grouped up heavily by the time she ults. The fact that we sort of pick them off one by one means she's not going to do as much damage. But her bomb, if the enemies are grouped up towards the end and she just drops a bomb on them all, she's just going to skyrocket through the damage charts. So that is that team. I really do enjoy this team. I've been using it on my Graveborn account, and I absolutely love the Sophia Iron combo. It's just sweet. Now, other things to look at in this team, if we go try again. So, like I said, Iron, like you could replace Iron, but he's too good at pulling too many enemies into the ring. So these 3 to me are all replaceable. The least replaceable, in my opinion, is Rowan, just because he's so fantastic with his healing and everything. But the other 3 heroes that White Sushi puts on his list, and now I'm not saying you remove those 3 and put these 3 in, I'm just showing you the 3 other heroes that he mentions as options. So if we go over here, we've got Forks. Forks sort of replaces that Tassie position as the general CC. He's going to banish the 1 hero from the start. Really nice. Also, if you're fighting against Brutus or something like that, he's really nice to be able to cleanse the shields. So it's just definitely something to think about. if you need that kind of support and you have him built. The next one is going to be Nara. There we go. Now Nara is another decent one, especially like you don't have to replace like the Leica or the Rowan with her. You could even replace the Tassie because she's going to do the mind control, and actually she can control one of the enemies you can't reach to. Maybe, you know, drag them a bit closer, do anything. It doesn't really matter. It's just she's there for the mind control and the healing, and you know, sometimes the RNG of getting a mind control is better than the RNG of banishing someone, because if Tassie's going to banish one of the heroes you bring into the pyramid and you actually want to deal damage to them, you can bring the Nara in so that you're still bringing the 3 enemies into the pyramid, and then you're mind controlling one of the others. So that is Nara. And then finally the other one is Lucius, and Lucius is just good because he's just a good tank. You can put shields on, and that's pretty much Lucius is just Lucius. And when you team Lucius up with the Rowan especially, he's gonna get, for instance, let's just do this, and we basically swap out the Wilder core for a Lightbearer core. But the Lucius, the great thing about him is when he puts his shield down, he's going to gain a lot more energy at the start. Also, with his signature item, he's going to reduce the energy that an enemy will receive, so he can slow down them doing their ultimate. He's just really good, but he can ult really fast and protect your team. So let's give this one a try. I just want to see how it works. I haven't actually tested it, but so you got the Forks, which is perfect. He's banishing that K source up the top, which is really good. Hopefully, okay, Lucius didn't get his ult off quick. For this situation, when I use Lucius, sometimes I'd put Jura's Call on him so he gets there quick, and then he can shield, but this stage isn't really going to matter. You're still going to affect the exact same thing. I'm going to drop the bomb on Belinda. Let's speed it up now. Oh, did we drop the bomb as she got banished? Rip. She got banished and avoided the bomb, so Sophia's damage is going to be real low in that one. Oh, she's still got most of the damage. So that's okay. But yeah, that's going to be the Lucius and the Forks. They're really solid. Some other ones that I actually use when I use this team are things like Athaliah, Nara. You do lose, like Athaliah, if you put her up here or something like this in this position, she does have that initial CC, and where the others banish the enemy, you can actually target and make sure you're hitting this enemy, and they actually kick back into the circle. So let's just do this and have a quick look at it. The Athaliah is going to knock him down and then kick him back into the pyramid. And so you've got that initial CC, but then you've also got that hero locked out by the attack and haste decrease, which is once again really solid. And as you can see, she just destroyed that K-Source by herself, didn't need any help, and then her ult is really nice as well. And that's one that I find Sushi didn't have on his list, but I just find her too good. When she basically functions in the same way, it depends on your enemy, but she functions in the same way as the Forks and the Tassie, in that they lock out one enemy at the start of the battle with the banish. But she just has that extended lockout period and she knocks them back in. Another hero that I do like as well is Nara. Basically Nara and Keltha, both options to put another hero, that one that you can't reach, into the pyramid. But once again, with those two, you lose the faction bonus. So those two are less optimal in my opinion, but sometimes you can make it work. It just depends on the stage and the enemies. Okay, so the next team we're going to look at is going to be the Thoren Cheese. Now, this one, there is a lot of options you can use with it. It's basically, I do have a video out explaining the Thoren Cheese and how it works, but basically, you want every enemy to be on top of Thoren, and then let him charge his ultimate and delete them, basically. Because with his signature item, he can't be killed when he's charging his ultimate, and with his ultimate, he charges it and he reflects all the damage that he takes when he's charging. So basically they group up on him, everyone else can be dead. You really want everyone else to die in this one, and then so that the enemies group up, and then it's just GG, they all get deleted. That's the basic idea with it. It can work on a lot of stages, especially if you have a full melee stage. This stage is going to be pretty good for it, just because the K-Source, if he uses his ult, he's going to jump over to the Thoren, and you're going to be pretty good. Everyone else is melee, so they're going to run. The Belinda, we're just going to drag over to the Thoren. Now with this one, there's a lot of playing around, which we're not going to do all the playing around. If you really want to check out some Thoren Cheese, you can check out my other video. But you've got to remove a lot of gear off heroes and stuff like that so that they can actually die. You want your other heroes to die so that he's the only one left and they stack on him. But like I said, I'm not going to remove everyone's gear for this one, but I just wanted to go through the formation options. And the great thing about this is, like, Rowan, Euron, and Nara are all fantastic heroes, and in like your top 2 or 3 that you're going to build from their respective factions. So they're heroes that hopefully by the time you get towards endgame, you've looked at building and hopefully pulled the copies to build. So like they just fit in well, and all you need is a mythic Thoren to actually do this. You just need his signature item, but it is going to be a play around to see if you can get him to survive, get him to ult fast enough. There's a lot of just basically cheesing around in Thoren Cheese, but the this basic lineup is basically using Euron to drag the enemies in. Now you don't have to use Euron, or there's no hero that you really have to use. It just depends on the enemies and their positioning and stuff like that. So this is the main formation on White Sushi's guide. Then he also talks about Keltha, if we can find him. Keltha I really love for this, because you can probably put good gear on Keltha and he can still die before Thoren needs to ult. So you can have him doing decent damage, but he still dies, and then he's going to come back in spectral form and help out with dealing some damage. He'll still ult in spectral form. So he's one that I personally really like for this. And then you also have the Athaliah. Athaliah is basically the same as Nara. She's just going to lock out an enemy and knock them backwards into Thoren. Similar with the pyramid team, she knocks them back to your line basically. So she's another good one. Lawson is there because of his link. He can link 2 enemies. So for instance here, if we couldn't get that Belinda in into the group, we could link her to one of the melee heroes so that when he does his cheese, the link is going to cause her to take that damage. The next one that isn't on the list of White Sushis is going to be the Leica. Let's go through the Rowan first, actually. Rowan's there for his potions, help Thoren survive. If everyone else is stripped of gear, they should die pretty quick even with the potions. But with the Rowan, sometimes I put Jura's Call on the Thoren so that he can generate energy faster and get the energy potion from the Rowan and basically get him towards ulting faster. Now with this as well, you're going to want to manual it a lot, so that you don't ult at the wrong time, but there is a lot of playing around. So the other heroes that I really love for this, for instance, in this situation, if Belinda was a melee hero, then you really don't need anyone down here. A hero that I really love, if you have him built available from the Challenger store, is Aziz, because he's got a mind control ability where he targets the furthest enemy. So in this case, say, actually let's just flip it up like this. Say we were going like this, we know the K-Source is eventually going to get into melee range when he uses his ult and jumps on him. Actually, K-Source has been changed. I'm recording this just before the update. Bad example. But just say that's a melee hero. He's going to mind control that Belinda and bring her in straight to the, basically he drags them into himself and then explodes and stuns. So he's going to drag that in and put it in melee range. I really do like him as that niche one to really target that furthest enemy and get them in there. And yeah, the other one was just the Leica. You can put the Leica in there for haste. And, you know, haste is always good, gets everything done quicker. That's pretty much it. Another very niche type one, in my opinion, would be, and this is very niche, would be a Mahira, just to get the energy up. But that, like I said, that's very niche. I probably wouldn't go for that too often, like ever, but it's just one that came to mind when I was talking about Leica for the haste. If you put it behind the Thoren, it is going to get his energy up faster. But that is the Thoren Cheese. We're not going to actually play it because, like I said, I have to strip everyone's gear and try and... It's a very balancing game of stripping gear. Same with Thoren, stripping his gear enough so that he takes more damage and his defense is low, but he still survives to actually be able to use his ultimate. So it's a good play around, but very in-game team, but not a bad team at all. So the final team we're going to look at is just an absolute fantastic team. I love this team. It's my girl Gwyneth. So basically the 3 key points to this team are going to be the Arthur at a level 30 signature item. I think his level 30 is a must-have. It basically makes him immune to CC if there's 2 heroes behind him, and regenerate 5% at health per sec. It just makes him really thick. So it is a requirement to have him 30 in my opinion. On this account, the signature item for Gwyneth isn't getting up there, but on my account, if you've watched my Gwyneth account, you know how much I love this. She's at 30 and she does a truckload of damage. Rosaline's the other key in this one. Rosaline doesn't have to have a max signature item, but it's obviously handy to have. But Rosalind is the other key because when she's on Gwyneth, she basically triggers the effects of her signature item, being that she gets the extra attack for having a hero close to her, and also she's going to get when Rosaline ults, she's going to be able to do double attacks with her signature item. So that's pretty much the main three you need in this one. In White Sushi's guide, he throws in a Taline, which obviously isn't free to play, and a Rowan. To me, these are completely exchangeable. The team I normally use, I'm really liking at the moment, is Hendrik. Hendrik is a great hero for this. And then Estrilda is also another fantastic one. I like Hendrik if there's a sniper or something like that, because he can go ahead and protect your back row. He's also just really good tank, but him and Estrilda are both there for the knockback. Another hero that I think is going to be good, at the time of recording this, he isn't in the game, but it's going to be the new Mola hero, Anarchy. He's got an ultimate that's a knockback. He's got a level 20 signature item that basically makes him immune to CC and puts a circle around him that basically increases haste of your allies. So I think he's going to be a really good one for this too. The good thing about the Rowan, Gwyneth, and Rosaline, you get the 3-piece faction bonus. Then if you throw him in, another one that I honestly don't mind if you have him is, whoops, I hit reset. Let's go back in. Did I screw up? No, I didn't. Okay. Is going to be this guy, the Ukio, just because he has the knockback as well, and he gives you a 3-2 bonus. But obviously, you're going to have the Hendrik, if you have the Hendrik or Estrilda, you're going to get the 4-piece bonus, which is better. I'm going to turn my volume down. So that's a really solid combo. You get the knockback, allowing Gwyneth to hit them. Now, the positioning I normally use, I like to use this sort of positioning. Just because the way you often, it depends on the enemies, really. It really depends on the enemies. If you can have Rowan in the middle, it's nice. But what I find is I like doing this one more often. This one gives you 3 heroes behind what's his face, Arthur, so that you have more chance of having his signature item passive active. But this one I really like because Arthur is so tanky normally that he can just survive anyway. And this allows Rowan to be able to heal 1, Gwyneth, your main damage dealer, and 2, your secondary tank who isn't as thick. So I like Hendrik for this one. Now this enemy is going to suck for this team just because it has the Ninja Turtle and he's really counter to it. Also with this team, it's really nice if you just have 3 back row heroes that stay in the back row so that you can just basically delete them with Gwyneth with her lightning flaming arrows. But let's just jump in, have a look, and then sometimes I just really like putting the Leica in there to get really, really fast attacks with the Gwyneth. As you can see, she can do the lightning arrows. She's getting completely shredded because of that Ninja Turtle jumping on her. But as you can see in this one, we actually did get to have the... well, this team's actually not too bad. I don't think Gwyneth has gear, by the way. I should have checked that. But you are going to get the Hendrik protecting the Gwyneth, which is really nice. I think she's going to die because she doesn't have gear. Yeah, she's dead. We will check that in a sec. I think we'll still actually clear this, just with the rest of the team. It's a really interesting one, and also the other this is a bad account to demonstrate this on, because the other requirement is going to be that Rosaline follows Gwyneth, so Gwyneth has to be the highest power. And with this account, having Gwyneth at only like a level 10 signature item or baseline signature item, it's going to be a bit tough. But as you can see, this is the new meta comp, Rowan and Rosaline, just helping each other out. The 2 kids. Okay, there you go. We still actually beat it. That was a very, very horrible example, but now I kind of want to check the damage dealt. Rosaline. But you can see, Gwyneth still did some damage, but obviously losing that buff of the follow. Let's see where she is. Yeah, she didn't have gear, but you saw, did you see that damage even though she didn't have gear? It's pretty nice. But yeah, basically, if you want to see more of that, just look up my Gwyneth account. There's a lot where I use it properly, where the Rosaline follows her, she's at level 30 signature item, and she just absolutely destroys enemies. So Gwyneth is a very, very nice comp that it's The good thing about the Gwyneth team is basically these 3 heroes in all the other teams that we've gone through, we haven't actually used these 3 heroes in the teams. So if you have these 3 built and then you build one of the other teams, when you get to these multi-stage battles, like for instance when you start fighting 2 enemy teams, you basically have 2 team cores if you build these 3 heroes and then build one of the other teams. So for instance, you're always going to have Rowan built, so I'd sort of like try and go like Rowan, then Gwyneth, then Rosaline as the build order, if this is what you're going to build for the light bearers. But then you could go ahead and build something like the Euron, the what's her face? Sorry, the Sophia, Leica, Tassie, like they're all different factions, and then you have the Rowan to put in that team, and then you can put like anything in this one just to make it work, because like I said, those last 2 are kind of replaceable, so you can skip the Rowan, you can put like the Estrelda or the Hendrik and just another unit in the side to help out, and it's going to give you 2 teams that are really going to shred. So I really do like Gwyneth as that niche. If you're building another team as your main team, start looking at Gwyneth, because she really does give you an option. Also, Arthur is free to play, you can get him from the lab store, it takes a long time, or you can just purchase him for $150. That's Australian, $100 US, which is a bit expensive, so not free to play if you're buying him, but you still can get him from the Labyrinth store. But it's definitely something to think about moving forward. I definitely think on my Celestial Hypergene account, I'm going to shift focus on light bearers and start trying to get my Gwyneth up, because I do have all of those Celestials. I have the Taylene on that account and all that stuff, so I've got some really good team comps built up. And then this is going to be like my secondary team comp, because I already have the Rosaline Ascended. And obviously I might just purchase the Arthur to save a bit of time. But I just, in case you didn't know, I really do love the Gwyneth team. But that is going to be it for those the top tier endgame free-to-play teams. Now these will change throughout time as they introduce new heroes, but we'll try and keep covering it. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Big shout out to White Sushi again. Go check him out on Reddit, links in the description. But thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.